So a couple nights ago, I roll up on my one wheel to the pub where I'm going to a community event, and you're outside, and we just started sharing some laughs. And next thing I know, you're telling me about Sphere Metaverse and all the cool things that you and your team are working on. So what was that night like for you? Because it was the first time that I got to go spend with that community, and it seemed as though you and your partner, and that was kind of your community. So tell me a bit about the community and what that night was like.
Community is amazing, really. It's web free. It's power to the people. There's real passion. It feels like we're at the beginning of, you know, you could go back to any time in history when you're at the beginning of a movement,
Yeah.
and there's power,
Yeah.
and that's what it's like.
Yeah.
And I feel 18 again.
Yeah.
I really do.
I love that.
You know, and it just makes you want to jump out of bed and get up and meet people. And essentially, they're like family now, the Web3. We call it Web3 family. And the ironic thing is, that's what our business is about. Our
Right.
business is about community, it's about football, it's about tribalism. And it just feels part of it. And even when I speak at events, I say to them, if our business community is like the London Web3 community, we're on a good thing.
Right.
And that's what it's like in London.
Right.
May not be the biggest place in Web3 in the world, but probably one of the best,
Right.
I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to speak with your partner, COO. We talked a lot about what's happening like for the World Cup with
Yeah.
Sphere Metaverse, right?
Yeah.
I wanted to invite you to share with me, where is the vision lead to? Like if you play it out in 3 years or 10 years or multiple generations, what type of vision do you and your team have for the metaverse as a whole and Sphere Metaverse, the project that you've brought to market? So I'd love for you to cast a vision that's inspiring.
Sure. I mean, first of all, it's going to be constantly evolving.
Right.
Okay. We're in the beginning of a journey in metaverses, and one of the most important fundamental things is that this is decentralization, it's Web3.
Yeah.
Okay, so there could be somebody in this room that we don't know that's bought some land on Sphere Metaverse, and he's got this crazy idea.
Right.
And he comes up to me, and we look around and say, wow, we've not thought of that,
Yeah.
literally. And then we encourage them, we mold them, we bring it to life. You see, so it's very important that, you know, people like ourselves can say they're visionaries and we're going to do this and we're going to do that, but it's about the community. It's
Yeah.
as important to talk as it is to listen, you know, and the feedback is what's important. And we don't really, our metaverse is not about rules and regulations. As long as it's legal, it kind of like flies with us, you know. For common sense purposes, we're a sports metaverse. So if somebody was to create something within the sports metaverse where all the fandoms are, they're going to have better traction.
Right.
So we're very much specialist. It's sports. And as you know, currently we've got a lot of segments in our business. We've got gaming, we've got esports, we've got fandom. So we've got these segments kind of like, you could say, in our first phase or our early stage of the business.
Right.
So that's what we're doing. So the actual roadways that we're starting on, they're very, very important roadways. And then if we look at each individual one, how's that going to grow? How's that going to change in the future?
Right.
All right. So as I said earlier, it's going to be constantly evolving. One of the problems today is the disconnect that the fans have in the clubs. Okay, so we have to bridge that gap. We feel that's the first place that needs to be addressed, because kind of like the fans feel that the clubs are not listening to them. There's the average player in the Premier League earns £4 million a year. The average player. We're not talking about the top players, okay?
Right.
And then you've got the cost of a ticket to get into a club, which might be, depending on which club, 70, 80 pounds, and then by the time you've got food, it's 150 pounds, and
Right.
you know. So there are economic factors to take into account that needs to be addressed. What we're doing here is that we're rewarding fans for communication, to give feedback,
Right.
which then we're going to go and then put it to the clubs, and then there'll be some sort of communication in bridging the gap. So that's one of the things. Then the next area is something more entertaining, let's say. So here we're talking about experiences.
Right.
So currently today the technology is not there, and we're working on this because we have got motion capture, but it's very limited
Yeah.
at this moment, the motion capture in what it can do.
Yes.
And this is one of the areas where we're going to bring the experiences for a global audience, which is not what we have today.
Right.
So these are things that we're working on. It's a question, I think everybody in Web3 is really confident of the future, and they're also understanding that whether it's the hardware or the software, that technology is not level to what the ideas are, which is
Right.
not a bad thing.
Right.
It's how it should be essentially, because otherwise Apple's going to tell you about their phone that they made and then you go out and buy it. So it's a little bit more exciting than that, because you know everybody's creating something and we're working hard to do
Yeah.
that. So that's the exciting part. There's major scope in esports as well. It's kind of like more an in-person thing at the moment.
Sure.
And we're trying to bridge that gap. We have got physical premises as well in the UK and in India. We're looking for USA as well. So we want to do something there where we're mixing that in a really unique, interactive
Yeah.
fashion. You know, so that's where we're going there. When it comes to gaming, the early stage of gaming is, you could say that we're doing Mark II of what already is out there. For argument's sake, let's say the FPL fantasy game. Great game, 10 million people play it currently within for the UK edition. So it's tried and tested, you could say. But I mean, I play it a lot myself, and we like to think what we're doing when we launch it on December the 26th has improved that game. You could call it a Mark II. But later on in our roadmap, we got completely different games that's never been done before. I don't want to talk too much about it, but again, they're more interactive and simulated at the same time. So that's what we're doing in the gaming segment. When it comes to fandom, we want to create that global village more. We want a Barcelona fan that's based in New York, one that's based in Spain, one that's based in London, to all be interactive in our metaverse and within the arena, and then cross different experiences with, you know, and keep it global. So that's what we're going to do on the fandom. So, you know, these are a few of the things that we're working on. And I would say these are within the next 2-3 years. What's interesting as well is that the partnerships that we're forging are with very, very small gaming hubs that are bringing different things to the table. So we're trying to work with them and try to like blossom. We're just gardeners, basically.
Yeah, I like that.
You know, this is what
Well,
we're
there's
trying
obviously
to
the QR code on your banners behind
Okay,
us.
yes.
But if somebody wants to find out more about Sphere Metaverse, where would they go to do that?
Well, this currently is our website. So this is our, what you could call our project website.
Yep.
And just before the World Cup, we're going to have a countdown in a couple of days. We're going to have an all-new website, okay, which is going to combine what you could crudely say is Web 2. It's actually all Web 3, but crudely speaking. And then a more virtual interactive one, all combined into one new website. So we'll be, you know, sharing that information across social media in the next few days. And so we'll have two websites, one more for information and one more for playing and interaction. So yeah.
Well, it's fun to hear about it. I've always
Thank you
been
so
encouraged
much.
by all the new metaverses that are popping up. There's only one metaverse. It's the decentralized metaverse of the people, by the people. And you're part of that. and Decentraland's a part of that, and Uplift is a part of that, and Sandbox is a part of that, on and on and on. And so eventually all these will be interoperable, they'll all be connected, but it's nice to find a team that is really focused on sport, and specifically the world's most loved sport, proper football.
Absolutely, yes. Our philosophy is that, you know, maybe you do one thing but do it properly. So
Yeah.
we want to just focus on sports. I think we want to be true to the fans and the people.
Yeah.
And we're just so excited. We're just waiting for that countdown to happen, for the
Yeah.
World Cup to kick off. And
Well, it's coming.
you know, it's
Just a
coming.
few weeks away.
It's coming. We're
That's
getting
right.
live soon.
Yeah, well, it was fun to spend
Definitely.
time with you.
Awesome. Great seeing you again.
Yeah, you too.
Take care.